So why is it important to having the people gather and having some kind of lectures of yours? Why is it important to us?
Well, the United States is the strongest and most powerful nation on earth, and it's the only time in history that it got that position not because it wanted it, but because other nations looked to it for leadership after World War II. Number one. Number two, no other nation on earth has ever shed blood and treasure for the freedom of another and never ask anything in return except the United States. And so the relationship with South Korea, for example, of which we only wanted them to be free, and when they got their freedom, now the 10th richest nation on the planet, everyone in America has a cell phone from Samsung or whatever. So therefore it's important, in order for us to keep our freedom, that when we vote, as we will shortly, that we keep that in mind. So that's the purpose of this meeting, is to remind people that freedom makes for abundance and also makes for stability in the world.
How can you evaluate the build-up movement?
Well, what has happened was that in the last 30 years, there's been an effort to try to convince people that America was bad. And it's hard to do when you just look at the way it's blessed the world. It's the most generous place on the planet. It helps people all the time. So what they did, they got into the colleges and they began to tell young people that America was bad, even though they couldn't have any proof. They just taught it. And there wasn't anybody on the other side telling the truth. So Turning Point USA, the head of it mentions that people say, well, these young people, they're all socialists. He says they're not socialists. They've just never been taught anything else. All they know is that supposedly socialism is good. When you give them the truth of freedom and free enterprise, they follow after that. So build up Korea or build up America is to just tell the truth, and the people will make the right decision.
Why Korea?
Well, Korea is, I'm prejudiced. When I first went to Korea in our 20s, it is such a wonderful, wonderful place. They love freedom. They love the Lord. They have a spiritual commitment. They're so much like Americans in that regard that we are just locked in. And therefore, whenever America needs a friend in the Far East, they always know that the Korea will be there. North Korea, same heritage, culture, climate, language, but doesn't have the spiritual and free commitments that South Korea has. And so you can see the difference. So South Korea is surrounded, it's right next to China and elsewhere. If we maintain that relationship, it's beneficial for the entire world. And when Koreans come to this country, they bless this country abundantly.
You have talked about spiritual freedom and political freedom and economic freedom. Which is the most important?
Well, if anybody's been in the dairy business has had a three-legged stool to milk the cow, and you have three legs, and if one of those legs goes, it doesn't work. And so it's spiritual freedom, political liberty, and economic truth. So when you have to have free enterprise, you have to have free elections, and you have to have a godly commitment. Without that, the whole thing doesn't work. And so in order to take down, first of all, do away with God, as Thomas Jefferson said, the God who gave us liberty, God who gave us life, gave us liberty at the same time. So the sequence. So first of all, the left wants to do away with God. Then they want to take innocent life. And any politician that will take innocent life will not hesitate to take your liberty. And that's what this is all about. They all three are intertwined.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.